Alright, so what are we talking about today? Is that a mosquito? No. So let's talk and walk in this stuff. So basically, this is from my leaf blower group on the Facebook. And what's interesting is, this is in Maryland, Severna Park. This is in Maryland, up near D.C. actually. And all right. So basically, let's cross the street and then we can play on the phone here. But this is a councilwoman who is Amanda Fiedler, who is a councilwoman, and she wrote this article herself about how she is very much, she's sort of against the ban that's coming into place or something like that. Let's read it now. Editor's note, the bill sponsors withdrew the proposed legislation after the Severn Park Voice went to print. The Anne Arundel County Council may debate the issue again in the future. So this was a proposed ban, and then they're like, oh no, we gotta not do that. And somebody on my Facebook group alerted me to this. So the article begins, fall is just around the corner. Well, it's already here. When was this? September 6th is when this was written, so it's like it's already October. It's almost November. It's October 30th. Leaves are already changing colors before they begin their great descent to the ground, your deck or gutter, or anywhere else they may land. How you clean them up may drastically change if a proposed bill before the Anne Arundel County Council passes. I want to be sure you are aware, and I want to hear your feedback. Bill 6724, proposed by the councilwoman for District 6, bans the sale, use, or permit of sale or use of any leaf blower or leaf vacuum that has an A-weighted decibel dBA rating of 70 or more at a distance of 50 feet. dBA refers to the level of sound based on how humans hear a variety of frequencies. The bill is proposed to become part of the county's noise ordinance law, which is a section of the county's criminal code that is enforced by county police. Let's put me up here. For reference, the existing county noise ordinance states you can still use it whenever, right? Except during daylight hours. You can use it from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., but not, right? We're not going to read that. What is 70 decibels? It's the sound of a washing machine or being in an active room where you don't need to raise your voice, but it is moderately loud. It isn't silence, but it is a noise level that would be hard if you were sitting in relative silence and it would be heard, right? Well, people having a conversation, they say, is about 60 like this. So 70 is a little louder than that. Now, one of the problems is it's not just the decibel level. Like when I was coming over here, I don't think I'm hearing anything now, and it is nice and windy, so that kind of helps. When I was coming here, you could hear leaf blowers this way, that way, whatever. So it wasn't loud, though. This is the number one problem is it can be true that leaf blowers are loud if you're very close to it. But that's an intensifier. That's not the original problem. Because I'm annoyed with these things even when they're far away, right? It's not the loudness. Loudness means it carries further. It's an intensifier, but it's not the original problem with these things. It's just the frequencies and pitch or whatever that makes it sound so awful.
Was it around the same time?
Speaking of rude things that make a lot of noise, it's just mute your fucking phone. This is the sauna all over again from 2 days ago or whenever. Just rudeness, Unbelievable. But anyways. Yeah, I'm just totally discombobulated. But the point is, it's not just the loudness, right? It's not just the decibels. It's it's the kind of sound. The loudness makes it go further, and if you're close to it, it makes it worse. But it's not the main issue. I understand why some residents become frustrated with the sound of leaf blowers. It isn't a pleasant sound. They are loud, but in most cases, they are quick jobs with seasonal ebbs and flows of activity. Again, that's not true. It's not quick. They can be on and off in one yard for an hour. I've seen that before. And, oh, it's quick, sure, but then it's quick somewhere else 5 minutes later, and then 5 minutes later, and then 5 minutes later, and there's no real peace, you know? It's just, it's always on somewhere, right? Right now I'm not hearing anything, so that's good. But you're never guaranteed this, right? All right. Lawn equipment by nature is loud. Leaf blowers, lawn mowers, chainsaws, weed whackers, snow blowers, wood chippers. Again, not if you buy more manual things. Rakes and brooms are not that loud. They're not that annoying. So it's a given. That's just what it. No, it's not. You know, even electric mowers are not that bad. You know, push mowers are even better, right? Right. Most are machines we carry and push that are redistributing a large volume of material from heavy snow to days worth of wet settled leaves. Regardless of the material being moved, that's a mosquito. The quicker the job is done, the more efficient it is for our wallets and our backs. Well, again, because, so the front driveway, I'm gonna, once more leaves fall down and it gets a little more wet, it'll be easier to actually rake together. But it hasn't been since, I think, the hurricane in July that I raked the driveway. Okay? So, and it's getting kind of a lot out there, but, you know, I'll do a video on that as well when I do it, just to demonstrate that it takes very little time. But the point is, what's the point? Right, the point is, basically that was in July. It's almost November now, all right? So August, September, October, right? So it's been 3 months since the hurricane, and I haven't needed to really do the driveway. Like, who cares, right? So anybody who's been puffing away at it, whether it's a commercial service, whether it's somebody doing it for themselves, it's kind of a waste of time, right? It's not like a couple leaves are going to kill you. You know, if it's a little wet, if it's a lot of leaves, yeah, at some point, maybe once a season, twice a season, all right, fine, right? So this idea that, oh, the quicker it's done, it's like, but a lot of stuff doesn't need to be done. A lot of this is just this busy work and make work that people invent for themselves, you know? And then, oh, we're saving money. It's like, well, I did it once right after the hurricane. Now, if there wasn't a hurricane, it's the summer, so there won't have been anything there. I very well could have not done it since maybe the spring, May or something, right? So, you know, all this money saving presupposes that you need to blow it every other day or every week or every even 2 weeks. It's like, do you? No. Well, so the whole thing is just not true, you know? And again, you know, saving money, puffing away at things quickly is not the only consideration. What about the fact that it's just loud, right? Like, let's dispose of trash and burn everything in our backyards, risk fires and risk, you know, all the pollution. But, oh, it's quicker, it's cheaper. It's like, okay, it's cheaper, but so what? Don't do that. Don't just start burning your trash and throw it out on your lawn, right? I don't know. All right. This is why individual residents, community homeowners, associations, and commercial property owners either use or hire a company that uses a machine that gets the job done fast. Well, and the other thing is, especially given how fat people are getting, not me, look at that. I'm kind of flexing, but you know, people could use a little more exercise. So if people want to, like, you know, go out there and have a commercial service come every week because, oh, it's got to look spotless. Boy, I got some great news for you. A broom, a rake is going to work great. It's going to be free exercise if you do it yourself, right? So it's just this weird thing where people are conveniencing themselves into obesity, and then it's like, we got to save money now and do it quickly. It's like, well, chill the fuck down, and let's go this way, right? And then people get these expensive gym memberships, and it's like, well, you could like do your thing if you must. Again, I haven't done it since the hurricane, and I don't think I've done the back deck since May. You know, we'll do that too. But anyways, these are primarily gas-powered machines, but this isn't a bill to ban gas-powered equipment, though it would likely have the most impact on gas-powered models. Yeah, if you set a decibel limit, it basically would eliminate, a 70 decibel limit would in fact eliminate most blowers, most gas blowers, and probably most electric ones as well. Gas and battery-powered equipment both make noise. Speaking from experience, as a homeowner who uses a battery-powered handheld leaf blower for small yard maintenance projects, our small battery-operated machine hits a particular octave that sounds like nails on a chalkboard. Very important. I checked from 50 feet. It has a dBA of 72 to 75, depending on where the reading is taken. It would be illegal to continue to use this leaf blower under the proposed bill. Now, notice this. So this woman is like, it's fucking annoying. It's like nails on a chalkboard. And it would be illegal. It's like, so there is an acknowledgement that it's annoying, and yet, I'm just going to keep using it. I want to keep using it, even though I acknowledge that it's annoying, right? This is just such a weird attitude. It's terrible. I'm going to continue using it. Rakes and brooms exist, Councilwoman. So, opponents and supporters are weighing in. Supporters have expressed frustration over interrupted work-from-home days, children napping, and the disruption of the tranquility in their yards. On the other hand, we save $2 doing busy work that probably shouldn't be done in the first place. Children napping, work from home, or saving $2 that doesn't need to be saved. It's a real tough choice. Well, the opposition has come from a variety of fields, from one-person lawn maintenance workers who do yard work as a side job to support their families. Again, you can support your family with a rake and a broom then, all right? I don't really understand the opposition from landscapers, especially because if the gas ones that are allegedly so much more productive and so much more efficient, well, if homeowners landscapers and gardeners would still be legal, right? They'd just be using quieter tools. So, I never understood this, But here we are. This would have been easier if I'm sitting down. I'm just gasping for air out here and having to watch my feet. Anyways. All right. Right, mosquito. The concern is consistent and clear. The cost to replace one piece of equipment is at least 2 to 3 times the cost of the original unit, and that is before the purchase of backup batteries may be calculated. A company could go so far in the red to replace their fleet of tools that any future savings would be irrelevant. Well, again, I think they're referring to switching to battery-operated blowers, right? Well, rakes and brooms are even cheaper, right? Part of it is this insanity that everything has to look perfectly spotless, Like the driveway has to look like it's brand new and you spent 20 hours sweeping it. And it's like, and the insanity, of course, in a place like this, calling itself the Woodlands, right, is this is fine. There's nothing wrong with a few leaves. There's nothing wrong. And this is how you know this leaf nonsense is just that. Thankfully, there's no sweeping here. And does it look like we're just inundated with leaves? Is it 30 feet of leaves and we're drowning in it? No, it's just a few leaves. It's not a big deal. It's just leaves, okay? It's just fucking leaves. And you can look up here. I mean, it's all, what do you call it? It's all trees, except I guess right over the trail. There's some overhang here, right? Are there massive amount of leaves everywhere? Not really. There's a couple pine needles, right? But you can still see the ground. So, Again, on a driveway, if it starts to get slippery, okay, but if you focus in and say, all right, I'm just going to focus on this small segment here instead of this blowout cruise. You see these commercial services, they just blow everything out in the yard. And it's like, okay, you've blown everything out and nothing grows there. It's just a gross patch, you know? It's just a gross patch of dirt. It's like, what is this? How is that preferred to my backyard that actually starts to look more like this, you know? How is that preferable? I don't know. I don't know. Businesses are concerned about the financial impacts of this bill, and they're worried about what those impacts mean for their staff and their ability to keep them employed. Again, you can just charge a little more, and this is the insanity of it. Let's say it costs twice as much. Oh my God, it's so expensive. But since a lot of this commercial service stuff is wasted, you know, people come by every week. I see it, sometimes every 2 weeks if you're lucky. It's like, okay, in the summers, you don't really need it. So if it costs twice as much, then instead of coming every week, come every 2 weeks. If you're coming every 2 weeks, come every month. Or simply, you know, don't come at all in the summer and then come more often when there's actual raking to be done. If you must, right? I just don't understand why this is never presented as an option. That, oh, it's going to cost twice as much. So do it half as often? Problem solved, you know? I don't understand why these are insurmountable math problems. It costs twice as much, do it half as often because you're already doing it too much. You know, budgeting with AntCon, you know, let's have that as a fun program, you know? Right, batteries don't run on endless power. They die. They take time to charge fully. They need to be recharged. They need to be in ideal circumstances for recharging. Yeah, okay, so basically that's the idea that, okay, you still have to buy extra battery packs. Now, my thinking on it is also that you could have corded, I mean, again, I don't even want to encourage this, but there are corded blowers. So you could just have an extension cord, right? Right. You could have an extension cord. So, I mean, hey, you could have one of those Blue Eddy things as well and stick it into that. I don't know how long that would last, right? But that's a possibility. Again, I don't even want to think of it that way, but why not use brooms and rakes, right? I don't understand this. You know, you don't need to do it that often and then use brooms and rakes and, oh, it's going to cost twice as much. Well, I can only hope so. All right. So let's see here. They need to be right. They need to be in an ideal circumstances for recharging, per manufacturer recommendations to avoid overheat. Yeah, okay. So basically, they need multiple packs, but again, they don't. They don't. Businesses have shared that they would need to have the ability to purchase and charge enough batteries. Right. Well, again, let's think outside the box and brooms and rakes, no? Property owners have expressed concerns over the ability to use the investments they have made in their lawn equipment and added financial burden of replacing those investments. Again, it's the same concern is, okay, I bought a blower and now it's illegal to use, so whatever, and the replacement costs more. Well, brooms and rakes don't cost more, so there we go. For those using a lawn maintenance company, how much will their service fees increase? A lot of households use these services because they are no longer able to maintain the yard on their own and are on a fixed retirement income. Again, we just discussed that, right? It's like, okay, come twice as often, or come half as often. If it's doubling, right? Problem solved. I have concerns about this bill, not only for small businesses, but also for private homeowners, as well as enforcement responsibilities that would fall to our police. Bill 6724 is scheduled for its public hearing and a potential vote on September 16th. And again, the update said it was withdrawn, so moot point. The council will likely discuss this legislation during a work session on, it was withdrawn. So anyways, that's basically it. No, they're really that bad, they're really that annoying. Brooms and rakes work just fine. Oh, it costs more. Okay, come half as often. Problem solved. But apparently we don't have the social coordination skills to solve these issues, right? To just have this. And yeah, it's disheartening. I think there was a county in Baltimore, or near not Baltimore, but somewhere in Maryland that did ban it. I think it's Montgomery County in Maryland, because this is Montgomery County in Texas that, of course, is going to ban anything like this. I don't think they even have the power to ban such things here on the county level. Not that, this would be popular, because, I don't know, we love to make noise. Okay, so there's one comment by Chuck Charles. When will this madness stop? While you're at it, why not ban breathing? Yeah, oh my God, I love these people. It's just the idiot army just comes out and starts banging on a keyboard. Well, Charles, okay, or Chuck, or whatever. There's a huge difference between breathing and, right. For example, I generally can't hear people breathing, and I can hear a leaf blower half a mile away, right? If I'm outside, right? So, yeah, that's one big difference, is I can hear people breathing. Breathing is also extremely necessary for life. Puffing around dust is not. So it's not noisy and it's not necessary. Breathing. So there we go. Maybe the sound of crickets and noisy children. Well, now that's another thing. The sound is somewhat subjective. But, bugs and cicadas and crickets, it's a natural sound. I could fall asleep to that. And if it was a nice sunny afternoon or something, maybe I could fall asleep to that. But what do you have to listen to outside? Leaf blowers. So, and noisy children generally don't bother me. You can have noisy children that it's a bothersome noise, but generally it's not. I don't perceive it as that annoying. You'd think I'd be annoyed by it, but I'm not. So those are qualitatively different sounds, at least to me, and they're not that bad. Crickets and insects are kind of good, The only thing that was annoying, I remember I went camping, and apparently I pitched the tent. I pitched it next to 1,000 frogs, and they were actually too loud. I remember that. It was just like, wow, but they kind of shut up after 30 minutes anyways, so. While we're on the subject of noise, what would it be possible to ban the use of Jake brakes and other noise-producing exhaust brakes? My community is near a couple of material businesses, the ones with dump trucks going in at all hours of the day, including weekends. All I hear when I'm working is the rumble of trucks and their noisy exhaust stacks churning up my working solstice. I'll be in the middle of a Zoom meeting, and all of a sudden, brrr, chug, 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 as one of these drivers slides by right before a tight curve on the road. I'd much rather listen to short bursts of a guy with leaf blower in my neighborhood than the harmony of exhaust brakes that continuously rattle my... Well, but see, this is it. It's like, okay, why not reduce both of these things, right? I don't really get it, Yeah, that's basically it. So I got this from Facebook, and I guess that's the conclusion we have, is it's just annoying and it's the usual nonsense, and it's unfortunately, you just can't have a resolution to this thing because everyone's just in love with their spotless driveway that results in dust in the air, because that's clean. That's of course very clean, and let's blow out the whole yard. Let's create patchy dirt everywhere. That's beautiful, So, yeah, well, So I guess that's it, and yeah, that's it.